All right, what's up, guys? It's the morning of December 3rd, and I just finished the first three chapters of $100 Startup. And I just want to give a shout out to Camilla for, you know, basically, taking the initiative on this, not only starting the group, but picking the book and then also doing the discussion questions. And basically, I'm just going to go over all the questions and give what my answers are. Hopefully, this helps you guys, helps with the not only with the discussion, but it'll add to your experience or give you something to think about or something that you missed while reading the book. To the first one is convergence. So how does your interest meet with what people need? And for me, I said having a personal connection, building wealth, and helping out the Black community. So helping people, that's really general, and then but building wealth, that's something that people really need. And this is also the business that I'm using an example for me that I'm pursuing is health and life insurance, and in particular life insurance. So what I want to do is basically help to specifically empower the Black community by selling life insurance, so that if somebody passes in the family, it's not a huge detriment to the family. It's not going to just destroy them, because it's losses like that. It's not preparing right for losses like that is what continues, the lack of generational wealth. So by having that, you're basically, when you're able to purchase that, even if you're somebody who maybe you don't make much more than above the poverty line, it's something that if something were to occur, that your family or and perhaps maybe just your significant other would be protected if something was to happen to you, so that if it does, the only thing they have to really worry about is, just mourning your loss and trying to get through the emotional part of it. They won't have to worry about, how they're going to pay the bills, how they're going to provide for themselves, how they're going to do this, do that. And it's kind of like how the seasons change. So every year the leaves fall off the trees, and then the leaves fall on the ground and they get broken down, and the earth takes them back. It gives nutrients, it gives new life. And that's what this will do. So that even though it may be tragic, you're able to, for most of the time, the policies that you get are probably, you can get a simple term policy for, depending on your age, maybe $10, $20, $30 a month. And with that, you can get 100,000, 200,000, maybe even more money for a policy, so that when somebody does pass, not only do you make up for the loss of income, you, at least for a certain amount of time, but you also cover the funeral cost. And then on top of that, you typically you may have also some extra money, so that you can perhaps invest in a business, pay off school, or something, basically give new life to making it easier to create more wealth. The next question is skill transformation. So basically, how your motley of skills, how does that translate to a business? How all these different little skills. Maybe you're not like an expert at anything, but you have a lot of different things that you're good at. And mine was, ironically, for you wouldn't expect it for being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, but it's being lazy. And I get this from, there's a quote by Bill Gates. He says, if you want to know the easiest way to do something, you have a lazy person do it. And that's true. I do that. I work at UPS as a package handler, and so I have the mindset that they're not paying me for my effort. So if let's say I load 1,000 packages during my shift, or I load 500 packages during my shift, I'm still getting paid $10 an hour. So why? I'm not going to bust my ass. I'm going to work smarter, not harder. I'm going to exhibit the least amount of effort possible, because I am not getting paid for my effort. If I sweat more, it doesn't mean that I get paid $12 an hour or 13. It's not. I'm simply paid on my time. And so I'm going to make my time as easy as possible. And I see a lot of people, especially my age and younger, this is where it's important to hang around older people. People, let's say, like for me, I'm 25. So it's important for me, and even when I was younger, to hang around people that are in their 30s, their 40s, and 50s, because they've been 25 before. They've been 20 before. They've been through a lot of this stuff before. They know where they can see acts that they did, and when they see them other people, they know where that road ends. And I got that from, when I used to work at a produce company, produce distributor, it was mostly older guys, 30s, 40s. And one of the things that they told me was like, we may have healthcare, but you don't want to use it. Your body's not a machine. You can't just replace a broken part and then you're good as new. It's kind of like a bent piece of steel. You can bend that steel back. Yeah, it'll bend back, but you can tell it was bent. It ain't gonna look the same. Just like the tab on a pop can. You can twist it back and forth, but eventually it's going to break. And I see a lot of people, and especially, and that's so important for people to know now, especially nowadays, because we have so many simplified jobs that they've basically instituted. It's more so repetitive labor. So you're doing the same motion. You're lifting up, maybe you're picking up, or you're typing, or whatever it is. That repetitive motion, it's going to break you down. You may be fine for the first year, the second year, the third year. But once you get 4, 5, 6 or more, you're going to start feeling it a little bit more. And that's why, like, I've seen people in retail jobs and stuff who get injuries I've only heard of in sports, like torn rotator cuffs. The only time I've ever heard about the first time I ever heard about a torn rotator cuff is from a baseball pitcher or a football quarterback, when somebody hits up their elbow, or they fall awkward or something like that. But there's people at Walmart, there's people working at Walmart for 5-10 years that get rotator cuff surgery because they're constantly lifting stuff up above their heads. And one of the things that I do, and I don't see very often, or basically never, is when you load trucks, they're much higher than the cans that go on the planes. So you get to a certain point that if you want to get a package to the top, unless you're real tall, you're basically throwing that package like a foot or so. So that's, and there's you get about, like in a truck, you may get 5, 6, 7, over 1,000 packages. And if you're, throwing like 200, 300 of those packages a day, and you multiply that over weeks and years, that's going to take its toll on you. And they have steps, which is why I use them. Most of the time when I see other people's who are working in the trucks, it's like this, you get like to a nice certain point, and then it goes all the way back of just a complete chaos mess. That's you don't if you come to if you look in my truck, maybe towards the end you might see that. But especially if there's a whole bunch of like bulk like Amazon fulfillment packages, you'll see mine and it's like boop 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 right to the top, just perfect. Let's see the next one. This is all for chapter 1. How am I going to apply what I learned? Well, with that, it would be the importance of educating my audience. So basically, and this goes along to, it talks about this too, about giving stuff away for free. So one like Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's big on that. He's built a whole successful career, but he's also given a whole lot of stuff away. He puts up videos almost every day that are like an hour long that you don't have to pay any money for. So he's basic, but he knows the importance of that builds trust, and that once he does have a product that interests you, you've built that rapport, you have that trust. So basically what he does through those videos is he's guaranteeing his sales. So instead of, let's say, he may get a sale 1 out of every 500 views, he may get, maybe after a while, he may get to the point where he's, 1 in 20, 1 in 30, maybe even a 1 in 100. And when you get hundreds of thousands of people, that's a whole lot of business. So that's the power of the internet, that it makes we've never been in a better time now to be an entrepreneur. We don't have to do door-to-door sales. We don't have to do, basically killing ourselves, being traveling salesmen, or working conference rooms and in hotels and stuff like that. We can make videos just like this and reach millions, tens of millions. And if you do it for long enough, you're going to be able to reach hundreds of millions of people. And for the next chapter, it was figuring out what people want. So basically that goes to with me educating people. And sometimes I have the tendency and that really helps me out, because I have the tendency to let my vision be clouded out by, let my vision be clouded out by like how I see things, and not seeing how most other people see it. Because to me, I'm the kind of person that wants to know the nuts and bolts in every single thing, which that kind of goes more towards the example they give, which is a chef, a chef bringing you back to have him help him cook the fish that you just ordered. And for me, so that would kind of be me. I want to know every single thing and how exactly does this work. Most people don't want that. They just want to put their money somewhere and make money. So the thing that I kind of simplified it down to is that I can guarantee a return, or that I can give them a return, that this is not a scam, and that I had to go through a bunch of I'm regulated, so I'm not just, this isn't just I got a wild idea sitting at home and decide to start selling this. This is a regulated market, and that if I am that there are forces, there is a systems that protect you if I do try to scam you or screw you over in any way, that will help you out to lessen or possibly eliminate any sort of repercussions that may happen. And then more good, giving people more good and less bad. And this also goes in hand with the next question, which is benefits versus features, which is you have to, if you want to be successful, you have to speak to people's emotions, because that's what really That's what really gets them to spend. If you can create that emotional tie, then you can make a sale, or you have a much better chance of getting a loyal customer, because you're not just selling a service. Because, for instance, life insurance, or like what they give examples of, like selling cars or selling trips or selling this or selling that, there's a million people like you selling the same thing. So you have to remember that, and you have to think to yourself, why should this person come to me versus somebody else? What makes my product better than theirs? What's to say, why is it better for them to spend their, let's say I have a competitor who is half the price of me. So what do I offer that makes my product, my value, twice as much is what you get from them? And what is it? That also goes into there's another question in the next chapter, which is knowing your value. So which goes into the next chapter, which is knowing your value. And so like I said, you're selling experience, and specifically for instance with the life insurance, what my thing is that sense of security, to know that whether you're here or you're gone, your family, your wife, whoever you leave your money, this helps out with, that whether you're here or you're not, you're still providing. You're still, like, I have it's easier for me, of course, to take a male perspective. So for that, it would be the provider of the family, protecting my wife, protecting my children. And what hit my emotion is me being gone, and then leaving them vulnerable to predators. That, because I'm gone. I'm gone. I can't protect them anymore. But if I purchase this, if I put in $100 a month or a couple $100 a month, in this case for the specific insurance product that I'm selling, I can protect them, because I think about, I'm not here. So then perhaps maybe in some families, the wife, the guy handled all the finances. So the person's gone. So you got to think about this scenario. He's gone. She's got the emotional trouble, possibly comforting the children, then all the money problems, and all of a sudden, that's the least of her worries. Even if she had the money, she wouldn't know how to properly spend it, or what kind of accounts he may have had, or where the money's going, or what kind of maybe he had reoccurring stuff, stuff on the internet she may not have passwords for. He may have never written them down. All these types of things that people don't really think about, because these companies, it's very, very difficult to go through the whole process of showing that somebody is dead, and trying to get them to give you the passwords and all these other accesses to that person's account. So, and not only that, if again, that same scenario without the money, I'm the kind of person I'm very particular about guys who may have access to my significant other. And in particular, let's say, for instance, at her job, at your child's school, maybe your neighbors, or just wherever, it doesn't matter, in friends of her family, friends of your family, whoever, that may be vultures. Maybe they're on top of that, successful vultures. Maybe they have a car dealership. Maybe they run their own business and they got a lot of money, and they may be single. They may not be faithful to their wife, and they may take it. They could take advantage of that and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and it's a shame that he left you like this, and you must be tough, taking care of your kid, and you're being such a soldier, and all this other stuff, and may use that, prey on her, give her a little bit of money so he can exploit her, use her up, and when he's done having his fun, gone, on to the next one. Another one was being specific versus being general. So, this is for not only your benefit, but your customers' benefit. Oh, and well, I'll explain this first. The that you don't that it if you're, especially if you're just starting off by yourself, one, you're kind of spreading yourself thin, so your mind is racing all over the place instead of, let's say, I'm a accountant, so I just do taxes. So I do taxes, so I keep taxes. I'm just running through them, checking them off the list. But then if I want to do like a more open CPA type of thing, then I have taxes, investing, uh, estate planning, all these other types of things, and I kind of spread myself thin. Like, wait, what? When was this supposed to be done? Or how I got this, and then wait, when did this person? And your mind's all over the place. You have to simplify especially when you start off. And this goes back to what we talked about in the Freedom Family about that Julian mentioned, which was a tree only has one trunk. That's the same thing. You're starting off a business, focus on one thing, perfect that. Give people the best quality of taxes that you can, because tax laws are confusing. So if you got tax laws, the stocks are all over the place, those stuff's changed, and then you got estate planning, again, you're dealing with more and more laws, you're gonna kill yourself. And you're gonna spread yourself thin, and you're gonna end up failing because you had your mind racing all over the place instead of picking what am I good about, what has the widest field, and focusing in on that. And then what I wanted to also talk about too was pricing. There was, yeah, like knowing, knowing what your, yeah, here it is, knowing what your value is, and saying like, which is like paying $100 for taxes. Like, oh, $100, like I can go down to TurboTax and pay $50. Well, this is a better product. I make sure that I give you a personal connection, and I give you a personal connection, and I give you the expertise. I make sure I go through the laws and know everything and learn what's important about, and I get what's important about you as it attains to that, and make sure I can maximize your benefit. And so, in references, why not charge people $15 an hour and then get through a bunch of people or whatever and just increase the number? Well, here's the thing. One, this is why we're doing this, because we're sick of getting paid $15 an hour or $10 an hour. And you think about the work that you do, what you do at work for $10 or $15 an hour. You don't want to. You don't want to put your credibility because this is you. This isn't a company anymore. You're the head. You're the poster boy. You don't want that representing you. Because $15 an hour, if I get paid $15 an hour, guess what I'm going to do? $15 worth of work, which is not going to be high quality. I'm just going to run through. I'm going to come up with some sort of formula so I can just a checklist, basically the same as TurboTax, and I'm just going to run through as quick as I can, because that's how I get paid. I get paid off the numbers, as opposed to charging people $100 to $200. Then I can take my time. If you want to equivalate it, it's basically, if I need to, I can take the whole day doing it, and still I can create a profit and create a profitable business with a low number of clients. What else did I put here? Oh, and that also goes again with the Freedom Family of Dr. Watkins. It cost he charged about $4,000 to get into the Freedom Family, or there's also the monthly payments. And to a lot of people that may seem steep, but you have to understand what this gives you. How much are you willing? It's kind of like, how much are you willing to pay for $100,000 to make $100,000 a year, to make $200,000 a year? What exactly is that worth to you? And not only that, but it helps you from, again, overworking yourself with that $15. If somebody charged $15 for taxes, and you were good at it, you would get tons and tons of people that would do that, because it's such a low bar that a lot of people can get that. Whereas, like with the Freedom Family, if you put that a higher mark, $350 a month or $4,000, all of a sudden, most people, that's a very serious purchase. So you're going to eliminate people that aren't willing to put in the work to get that, so that you don't have all these basically empty accounts of, yeah, I'll do it later, I'll do this, or, basically show up when they have to, because it's nothing for them to throw 30, 40, 50 bucks a month or whatever it is. And lastly was disaster stories. I don't necessarily have any personal ones. I guess I kind of do, because before I got into the Freedom Family, I had purchased some products from seminars that I had gone to, and if I had known if the Freedom Family came first, I probably wouldn't have never have paid any mind to those two other things. They will be those. I still got benefit out of them. I know that I still will get my money's worth out of those purchases. However, currently speaking, those purchases did put me in a dire consequence that I'm trying to get out of right now, and it's just it's a big hurdle for me. But I know once I'm able to get over this, whew, I'm gonna be killing it. But I also had some general thoughts on it, which was I would just roll with it if something bad happened, because things happen. It's unfortunate. Shipments get damaged. Like I remember when I worked at the produce place. Sometimes you get a bad shipment. Sometimes the reefers in the cars in the trucks go out, and they're coming up from Florida, Mexico, Texas, California, some hot places, and so those temperatures destroy a lot of the produce, and it's like we got to make money. So what we would do is we would run through them, throw out the bad ones, save the good ones, and cut our losses and try to make up for it elsewhere. And another thing too is when stuff like that happens, you gotta be honest. Be honest with people. Hey, we had a bad shipment. I know we usually charge you about $30, $30 a box. I'll give you these for $20 a box. I'm sorry about the quality. Hopefully, we can't really control these kinds of things. We can only control so much. Hopefully we can get a better shipment. If this becomes a consistent thing, we'll start looking into getting, different buyers and stuff like that. Because once you have that honesty, that's an immense amount of trust that you can have. That because a lot of people don't want to admit that they messed up or that things went wrong. But if you try to sell somebody that $30 box with all those problems, they're gonna be like, oh, crook, giving me these, trying to charge me full value for some crappy ass tomatoes, But if I said, these are bad, I'll charge you $20. Be like, okay, and you make the purchase and you stay in business with them. You still keep that relationship with them, because that trust, you can't. That's for a business, that's priceless. When I can work with somebody that I know for a fact is not going to take advantage of me, that if there's a problem, they're going to tell me about it. If there's an issue, they're gonna they're not going to give it away for free. I wouldn't expect them to give it away for free. They got a business to run, but they're gonna appreciate my customer loyalty, and I'm gonna appreciate their honesty, and through that we're gonna reciprocate with each other, and we're gonna keep doing business. And another thing for just one more last note about giving it away for free is and this goes in tow with the Freedom Family, which is I may, instead of maybe I try to hoard customers, or I only deal with people who I can benefit from. So if you don't want to pay for life insurance, then you are no use to me. I don't really care about whatever else your needs. No, I may say, if I show for instance, if I show that I care about people, and let's say I have some sort of system set up so that if somebody misses a payment or a payment gets rejected, I can be like, hey, shoot an email. I can have an email sent out to them like, hey, we noticed that you missed the payment, like the payment didn't go through. What's going on? We understand that We understand that, life, the struggle can be real sometimes, and you can have difficulty managing your money. Maybe an emergency comes up, death in the family, all these other kinds of things. What's going on. I would hate for you to, this is a really beneficial product for you. I would hate for you not to be able to take advantage of it. I don't want money to be an option for you. And people are going to take heed of that and say, like, wow, this person does care to me. Like, maybe they'll say, like, yeah, this or that happened, and you'd be like, oh, I know somebody who, they're a finance planner. Would you like, if you want, I can give you their email. You can shoot them an email and talk to them about what's going on, and perhaps they can help you. And in particular, that tying into the black community. And with that tying into the black community, using the Freedom Family, I can have black experts so that they can build trust. They can have somebody that they can easily trust, because it's somebody that looks like them, that perhaps grew up with that same lifestyle, that's going to understand what they're going through, understand what perhaps they can give their own, that personal connection. Again, that kind of stuff, it's priceless. It's priceless. And so, and not only that, but it can lead that person to maybe that they can convince that person to take up a business idea that they had, and so on and so forth. And it just, the reciprocation, the wealth that this keeps building on and on and on, it gets to a certain point where it's contagious, and you can't once that ball starts rolling, you can't stop it. It's like, once you invest in it, it's like, instead of having to go out and find customers, all of a sudden you get more people coming into you than you know how to handle. And then you're learning new things that keep building the business, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But that's it for me. I hope this helped you guys out, and hopefully it gives a lot more to the video, or to your reading. And also, I appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and share. I haven't gotten any more subscribers in a while, and this is honestly for your benefit, because you're kind of like what Ali did with, when he wanted, when he was in like 19 years old, 20 years old, and he told people, you're going to want my autograph because it's going to be worth a lot of money. And sure enough, 2 years later, he was a world champion of the world. So it's just something to think about. All right, peace.